This video is a drawing app, and you can try it for yourself by turning on subtitles. Just click the CC button, which should bring up a pen icon where the subtitles usually live. And if you start dragging it around the screen, you should start to see the magic in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm guessing it either worked flawlessly or failed miserably for you. Overall, it's very buggy, it doesn't work on mobile, and YouTube definitely did not intend for subtitles to be used in this way. But in this video, I'm going to show you how I was able to accomplish this very basic drawing app in YouTube. But before we even jump into how this is possible, I need to take you back a few months to the video that started it all. It was just a normal day in June 2025 when a YouTuber by the name of Firerama posted a video titled, "This video is a drawing app." Yes, subtle inspiration. I love it. In his video, you could drag a paintbrush around the screen and colored dots would generate behind it. And everyone lost their minds over this. But there was one small problem. Firerama never explained how it was done, and that bothered me more than it should have. So I decided to make my own drawing app, which, yes, is a worse off-brand version of what he did, but until he posted a tutorial, this is the best I could come up with. So the drawing app I'm going to make is going to consist of a paintbrush and a bunch of tiny dots that shouldn't disappear until the end of the video. A new dot will be generated every few milliseconds wherever the brush is, which should give the illusion of drawing. Now there's a few questions I have to answer, each one more difficult than the last, starting with how to get the paintbrush to appear in the first place. In Firerama's video, you use a paintbrush to make your drawing. The dots themselves are just Unicode circles used for bullet points, but what about the paintbrush? Well, this was pretty easy actually. All I had to do was find the paintbrush emoji online and paste it into my subtitle file. Now that I had that out of the way, I had to figure out how I could change the stroke color. After all, it would be pretty boring if I only had one color available to me. The most common closed caption file type you'll probably encounter on YouTube is a subrip file, but I had absolutely no idea how to change my text color using it. So I've been using the subrip file type up to now, and after banging my head for like an hour, it looks like YouTube ignores all styling on this format. Not to worry though, because they just so happen to support a variety of other formats that can be styled. And I think I'm going to try this TTML format first because it looks the most promising. Surely this won't cause problems later on. Cough, cough. Now I found this nice documentation on how to write my own subtitle file in this format, and boom, colored text. This was way easier than expected, which is always a bad sign. That's foreshadowing. But anyways, great. We have 2 out of the 4 things we need to make this drawing app work. Right now, we can display a paintbrush or a colored dot, but what about both at the same time? We need the paintbrush to always be visible, and we also need our colored dots to remain on screen. In other words, we need to display multiple subtitle blocks. My first idea to generate more than one subtitle at a time is just to add a bunch of these P tags and see what happens. Okay, so it looks like it's only generating the last P tag I'm adding, which is not what I asked for, or wanted, or was emotionally prepared for. Luckily, I can add positioning to these subtitles, so let me give each of them a unique location on the screen. And just like that, we can see multiple subtitles at the same time. But in order to get that paintbrush effect, we don't want all these dots to appear at the same time. We actually want them to appear every few milliseconds. As a test, I'm just going to stagger these begin attributes, but keep all the end ones the same. That way, we get a steady stream of dots that stay for the duration of the video. So for example, this first one will start at 0 seconds, the second one starts at 3 seconds, third one at 6 seconds, and so on. And look at that, we have dots that appear wherever we want, whenever we want. So it was looking like everything was coming together nicely, but I was about to encounter the biggest roadblock in this video, because I don't want these dots to be generated in a random place on the screen. Instead, I want them to be generated at the last location where my mouse is going to be whenever it's dragging the paintbrush. But that's a problem for TTML, since I can't seem to find a way to get the dots to follow the cursor. So how can I get the dot subtitles to generate in the right place? I started trying a bunch of other formats, SAMI, WebVTT, RT, even ASS, which YouTube didn't actually recognize. And I spent a good amount of time looking into this, asking ChatGPT for suggestions, but even it was stumped, giving me one of 2 responses, either A, telling me it wasn't possible, or B, which was just BSing a non-existent solution. So then I decided to see what Firerama's transcript looked like as text by using NodeGPT. As a sample, I used this MrBeast video, and it looks like a pretty normal subtitle file. Then I tried Firerama's video and got this hot mess. So it did do something, just not the thing I wanted. I also tried a few other tricks to try and figure out what he did to get the drawing effect, but I just wasn't able to figure it out. However, when I was experimenting with the output from NodeGPT, I discovered something very interesting. Using an HTML tag in an SRT file allowed me to display multiple subtitles at the same time. Now you're probably wondering why this is an achievement. After all, it was already done in the TTML format. Well, SRT files, at least on YouTube, are much more limited in what they can do, and to my knowledge, this should actually be impossible. If you just have a regular subrip, you can't display more than one subtitle block, even if the time intervals overlap. I'm not sure why adding a tag after each block gets around this problem, but it works. Now, did I just break the subtitle system, or was this always intended? I'm choosing not to ask why, but regardless, I'm going to exploit the simplicity. At the beginning of this video, I said one of the most common subtitle formats was SRT. Now if you go to a random video with closed captions, try to drag the current subtitle you see on screen to a different location. When the next subtitle is generated, it should be located in the same spot where you dragged the previous subtitle. That must mean YouTube remembers the cursor's position for you. Because of that, we can use these files to add the dots to wherever our paintbrush currently is. Okay, I modified my subtitle file to include a div tag after each dot, which should allow them to stay on the screen. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see if this actually works. Yes, it didn't break. Look at that. I can draw on the screen now. How cool is that? Now, despite this overwhelming success, I did lose the ability to draw in color, which was totally an artistic choice, and not because YouTube doesn't support styling for SRT files. However, if you still want it, here are a few solutions. You could go to subtitle options and change the color there, which will give you a wide range of colors to choose from. Another possible solution would be to use emojis for the dots. There's a variety of colored dots I could have used instead, but for this video, I just went with the basic Unicode symbol since I liked the best. Now if you actually look at this script here, you'll notice that I generate a new dot every fraction of a second. And I don't think I need to tell you that having to manually copy, paste, and then modify the timestamps for a whole video would take a lot of time. So I did what any programmer would do. Instead of spending 1 hour writing the subtitle file myself, I spent 5 hours writing a script that would do it for me, and that saved me -4 hours cause I ain't never using this script again. Now you'd probably expect this process to be pretty simple, but I honestly found myself running into more bugs than I thought were possible. Okay, first test round, let's run it. So it looks like I just invented negative time. Also, why isn't this program stopping? But in the end, I was able to get it working. All I have to do is enter in some arguments and the script generates a whole file I can just pop into my video. So, did I make a drawing app in YouTube? Well yes, I guess I did. Is it as good as Fiorama's? One can hope, but until he makes a tutorial or someone else sheds light on it, we may never know how it was done. But I think the really cool thing are the unhinged possibilities you can accomplish with these subtitles. You can make a game like Checkers, Chess, Connect 4, and those are just the ones that start with the letter C. Even though I couldn't use the advanced file formats for this video, they can still be applied to some of the other ideas here. YouTube basically handed us this tiny cursed toolbox, and somehow people are out here building skyscrapers with it. Anyways, that's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell Fiorama to please drop the tutorial so the rest of us can stop reverse engineering his sorcery. Thanks for watching, and have fun breaking YouTube in ways it was absolutely never meant to be used in.